Hello everyone and welcome to Azam Sharp Weekly. And in this video, you're going to learn how to get started with creating a movies application in Flutter. Now this is a video recording of the finished product. So you can see on the right hand side, we're fetching the movies from an API, Omdb Api, and we can tap on a particular movie and it's going to make another request and fetch the details of that movie. Now, this particular app we'll be building in multiple lectures. So in one lecture or one video, we're going to create the page, the home page, which shows you all the movies, this page. And in the second lecture, second video, we're going to create the details screen. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Well, the first thing we need is some sort of a URL that can give us the movies. And that is the Omdb API. First of all, make sure that you are using your own API key and not this key. This key will not be valid if you use it. It will be deleted. So make sure that you're using your own key. And this is the JSON that it actually returns. It's only going to return JSON for Batman, since we are passing Batman as a hard-coded string. I already have created the basic app. You can see that it's using the app class, which is a stateful widget. And then the state is maintained by _app, which is a private class. And it simply returns or displays the app bar, which says movies. Fine. But the first thing we need to do is we need a way to download the movies, right? So how do we download the movies? Well, we need some sort of a package that will allow us to perform a networking call. And one of those packages is called the HTTP package. Now you can go ahead and open a pubspec.yaml file. And right over here in the dependencies, we can go ahead and add another dependency on the HTTP package. So I'm just going to go ahead and paste the HTTP package. There we go. Now, as soon as I'm going to save it, it's going to download the package and it's going to integrate the package. So it's already downloaded and it's already part of the app. I just need to import it to use this package. Let's go back to our main.dart. Now, inside the main.dart, now we can go ahead and work towards, well, how do we fetch the information? First of all, we're going to go ahead and import the HTTP package, the one that we just downloaded. There we go. We're giving it the alias of HTTP. Next, what we want to do is we want to fetch all the movies. So inside our _app, which is a private class, I'm going to go ahead and create a function which will be called fetch all movies. I'm going to go ahead and make this function an async so that we can use async and await feature. And now I can use http.get and pass in the URL. Let's go ahead and get the URL. Probably a good idea to put the URL in some sort of a configuration file, but for now it's okay. We're going to await for the future to resolve. Oops. And once it is resolved, we will get the response. Once we have the response, we can check that if the response code, if we actually, the response was successful or not. So if it's 200, that it means that we got some response. All right. Now, looking at the actual JSON, you can see that we are not getting an array, but there is a key which is called search, whose value is an array. So we need to get that particular key. The first thing we're going to do is we will decode the response.body. So there is a function you can call, which is called JSON decode, which is part of the Dart convert package, which is automatically imported since I press the enter or return key. And I can go ahead and pass response.body. Now this is going to give us a dictionary. So we'll get a result. And the one key that we are mostly interested in the dictionary is the search key, because the value of the search key is the actual array. So I can go ahead and say result, search. So if I pass in the key, this is going to return us something, and we're going to put that something into a list variable, which will be of type iterable. Iterable simply means that whatever this is returning, I can iterate on it. I can loop through it. I can map. I can filter. I can reduce. Now, this will be a list of dictionaries, list of map documents, or map, which is a string and dynamic value, or dictionaries. You can simply think of it as a dictionary, list of dictionaries. It would be a much better idea if you create some sort of a class. So let's go ahead and add a new folder, and I will call it models. And inside the model, I'm going to go ahead and add a new file. I will call it movie.dart. The movie.dart is going to represent a particular movie class or a particular movie that we're downloading. And a movie can have many different things. I'm going to go ahead and get the IMDb ID. I'm going to go ahead and also get poster for the movie. I'm going to also go ahead the title of the movie. And we can also go ahead and get the year of the movie. Now it's basically complaining because although we have created those 3 or 4 properties, we haven't really initialized them, or we haven't really given movie any opportunity to initialize them. So let's go ahead and pass this in the initializer. This dot poster and this dot year. The another thing that we need to do is we have over here a list, an array of dictionaries. So we need a way to convert that dictionary into a movie object. For that, we can create a factory function. A factory function simply means that this function is going to return you an instance of the movie from JSON. And now I'm going to pass in something over here. So inside this from JSON function, this is going to take in a dictionary, which is called map. The key for the dictionary will be string, always string. And the value of the dictionary, we don't know. I mean, sometimes it can be a number, sometimes it can be a true and false, a Boolean, but sometimes it can be string. So we're going to just put it as a dynamic, which means that it will be a dynamic value, meaning it can take different values. And from movie.fromJSON, which is a factory function, we're going to return a brand new movie object where IMDb ID, which will be coming from JSON. So make sure that this is the actual JSON or the map or the dictionary that you're passing. So we have to make sure that we use the same or the exact key, IMDb ID. There we go. Next up, let's go with the poster. JSON poster with a capital P. Why is it capital P? Because that is what is being returned from the JSON. Next, let's go with the title. Same thing with the title. We're going to just use the title. And then the year, JSON year with Y capital, because this is coming from JSON. So now we have created our movie class, which consists of all of these properties and even a factory function that will allow us to take a particular dictionary, a map, and converted into a movie object. Let's go back to our main.dart. Now this is a list on line number 23. If it's a list, then we can map through it. List.map. We will get access to the movie. And then we can say movie. This is our model that we just created from JSON. Well, first of all, make sure that you are importing movie. There we go. I can just press a return key and it's automatically imported from JSON, passing in the movie, which is this object, which is the dictionary, and then finally returning to list, converting it to a list. We also have to return it. Now, when you're returning it over here, but right over here you said void. So that's not true. So we need to say future, because this is an async function, and what we are returning is a list of movie. We also have to take care of the else portion, because if the status code is not 200, if it's not a successful request, then we can just go ahead and throw an exception, and we can say fail to load movies. Okay. So we have created our fetch all movies function. The question is, well, where are we going to call that function? One of the places where we can call this function is the init state. Init state is available because this particular class is the one who is managing the state of the stateful widget. So I'm going to go ahead and say init state, or let's go ahead and first make sure that we are saying void init state. Not sure why it's not appearing, but we'll take a look at that. And make sure we are decorating it with override. Super.init state. Let's see if there's any error on the console. It looks fine. Now, instead of directly calling inside init state fetch all movies and waiting for the result, the future, to be returned, what we are going to do is we are going to call another function which is called populate all movies. And populate all movies will be our own custom function, which will be marked with async, because we will have to wait for the fetch all movies result. So we'll say fetch all movies, and we will await for the result. Once we get all the results, we are going to put the results into movies, which is our local variable. But we still need to put the result into some sort of a little bit more global variable so that we can set the state, and then the build function can fire again. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and create a private variable, and I will call it movies. Once I get the movies from fetch all movies, I can call set state, and I can set movies equals to movies. Whenever I set the movies, because I am doing it inside a set state, it is going to call build again. And that is my opportunity to pass the data to a child control which can display all the movies. Now, I don't really have a control that can display the movies, but what we can do is we can create a control and we can pass it down. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder over here, and I will call it widgets. Inside the widget, I'm going to go ahead and add a new widget. I will call it movies widget.dart. And we'll say movies widget extends stateless. We are not really going to be maintaining any state inside the movies widget, so that's why I'm putting it as stateless. The only job of the movies widget is to literally just display the movies, and that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and say movies widget. I always like to start with just returning a text. And let's go back to our main over here. And now for the body, we can say movies widget. Now, in order for the movies widget to get access to the movies, we probably should be passing in the movies, right? Which is in movies. But the movies widget is not really interested in passing anything. So let's go back to the movies widget and make sure that we can actually pass movies. So final, and I will say probably a list of something. So let's go list of movie, and we'll go ahead and say movies. Probably have to go ahead and import this. Quick fix, import. And now we can create the constructor for movies widget, where you will have to pass in the movies. Great. So you can see the movies widget is now getting displayed, no more errors. But obviously it's not really showing you any movies. So let's go ahead and work on that. Instead of returning the text widget, we actually want the list view. So list view builder. And you can use a grid or anything like that also. Item count, movies.length. So number of items in the list will be equal to the number of movies in the movies array. And then the item builder, which will have the context and the index. And now we have to return something over here on our item builder. So let's go ahead and return a list tile. And inside the list tile, I'm going to use the title property to simply go ahead and display the movie. Now, one of the good things you can do is to a little bit refactor it, meaning that instead of writing movies, index, blah, 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 we're just going to go ahead and say movie equals to and movies of index. So that now if we want to refer to a movie, we'll simply say movie.title. And let's go ahead and refresh this, or do a hard reload. And we're trying to see, there we go. Awesome, right? We got all the movies being displayed. So this is pretty cool. Now we also wanted to display the actual poster. Now if you want to display the poster, we can say leading image.network, and we can simply pass in movie.poster. And there we go. We got the poster. And the problem with this approach is that whenever you're using a list tile and whenever you're using a leading and all those things, by default, it's just going to get this size, and you can't really change that size. So instead of doing that, what we're going to do is we're not going to use leading or all these things. We're going to build our own style. And by building your own style, you can adjust the height and all those things. So I'm just going to go ahead and use a row over here, which will have children. And in the children now, we can have, well, it's a row, so it goes from left to right. So we can have anything we want over here. I'm going to go ahead and put a sized box. Size box basically means that, well, this particular element will be sized. Image.network, movie.poster. There we go. It's a pretty big poster. So we can, since we are inside a size box, we can go ahead and give some sort of a size to it. Actually, that looks pretty good. I like the size. Very good. Size box is done. Now, the other thing that we can do is we can obviously display the title of the movie and also the year of the movie. So we need to display two things, title of the movie and the year of the movie. So since there are two things, perhaps I want to use column children. Let's go ahead and see that if we can display the title, poster or movie.title. Okay, so we got some problems over here. You can see it's actually cutting off. So what we want to do is make it a little bit more flexible. And right now, it's not flexible because it's obviously cutting off. So in order to make it a little bit more flexible, what we can do is we can try to put this inside a control, which is called flexible. So let's see if that helps us or not. So I'm going to say refactor, wrap with a widget, flexible widget, and now it's much better. The flexible widget is very interesting because the flexible widget can flex as regards to the other items in that particular space. Or I'm not even providing a flex that how much you will flex as compared to other flex items, because there are no other flex items. So right now it's just going to flex and it's just going to look nice automatically. If I had two items, flexible items, then I can say flex 2, which means that this particular item will be flexible, or meaning it will take twice as space as the other item. But right now it's not going to have any effect, so I'm not going to even use it. The other thing that we can do is probably we can wrap our column, try to see if we can wrap our column inside a padding. Okay, looks nice. And actually that's pretty good. I mean, we can go ahead and iterate. I mean, we can go ahead and see how it looks. One other thing that I really like to do is to make corner rounded for my posters. Now you can do that by using something called clip rrect. And clip rrect is going to clip the rectangle. Let's go ahead and put the child of the clip rrect function, which is going to be the image. And the most important thing, border radius. So we're going to say border radius dot circular, and let's say 10. And it looks nice. Now, obviously, you can play around with the radius. If I go ahead and go say 50, that look kind of weird, but 10 or 6 should be fine. But that's completely your call, that how you want to be displayed. So there you have it. I mean, we created this application from scratch. Looks great. It is fetching from the Omdb API, and it is displaying the result with the image, nicely formatted image, with the title. Now, one other thing that we can add, which I forgot to add, is the movie year. Let's see if we can get the movie year also, but you know how to do that. So let's say movie.year, and there we go. So we got the movie year also. We can perhaps say the main axis alignment over here, main axis alignment dot, let's say start. Might be the cross-axis alignment. I always get confused with these things. So let's see, cross-axis alignment dot start. Okay, there we go. And now we have the year. And you can change the font and all that stuff. Pretty cool, right? So that's it. This is the first part in which we created the list for list of movies. We displayed the list of movies from the Omdb API. In the next part, I will show you that how you can tap on a particular movie and then fetch the details of that movie. Hey, if you like this video and want to support my channel, then check out my courses on Udemy. I have a SwiftUI course, 21 plus hours of UI course, one of the best-selling courses. And I just released a brand new course on SwiftUI with Firebase. This is a 6 hours course, and it goes into creating real-life application. Really cool course. If you're looking for Flutter course, I have a Flutter course, which is the ultimate hands-on Flutter and MVVM project. So this is a course where you will build real-world Flutter applications. And all the links for these courses is right there in the YouTube description. So please use those links, because if you use those links, I get to keep a little bit more revenue and I get to continue working on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and I really hope you enjoyed the video.